Daily reading of the Harvard Classics, January 25th, To a Mouse, and Burns' Other Poems. To a mouse, on turning her up in her nest with the plow, November 1785. Wee slicket, cow'rin timorous beastie, oh, what a panic's in thy breastie! Thou need na start away sae hasty, wi' bickering brattle. I would be loath to rin and chase thee wi' murdering pattle. I'm truly sorry man's dominion has broken nature's social union, and justifies that ill opinion which makes thee startle at me, thy poor earth-born companion and fellow mortal. I doubt na, whiles, but thou may thieve. What then, poor beastie, thou main live? A damon icker in a thrave is a sma request. I'll get a blessin' wi' the lave and never miss't. Thy wee bit housie, too, in ruin, it's silly was the winds are strewin'. Ah, nothin' now too big a newin', o foggage green, and bleak December's winds ensuin', baith snell and keen. Thou saw the fields laid bare and waste, and weary winter coming fast, and cozy here beneath the blast thou thought to dwell, till crash, the cruel coulter past outthrow thy cell. That wee bit heap o' leaves and stibble has cost thee money a weary nibble. Now thou's turned out for thy trouble, but house or hold, to throw the winter's sleety dribble, and Cranridge called. But, mousie, thou art no thy lane, improving foresight may be vain. The best laid schemes o' mice and men gang aft agly, and leave us naught but grief and pain for promised joy. Still thou art blessed compared wi' me. The present only toucheth thee, but och, I backward cast my eye on prospects drear, and forward though I canna see, I guess and fear. Tam O'Shanter, a tale of Brunius and of Bogulus, full is this buke. Gowan, Douglas. When Chapman Billies leave the street, and drothy neighbors meet, as market days are wearing late, and folk begin to take the gate, while we sit bousing at the nappy, and getting foe and unco happy, we think na on the lang Scots miles, the mosses, waters, slaps, and stiles, that lie between us and our hame, where sits our sulky, sullen dame, gathering her brows like gathering storm, nursing her wrath to keep it warm. This truth fond honest Tam O'Shanter, as he frae Ayr a night did canter. Old Ayr, when ne'er a town surpasses for honest men and bonny lasses. O Tam, hadst thou been so wise as ta'en thy ain wife Kate's advice, she told thee weel thou was a skellum, a blethering, blustering, drunken blellum, that frae November till October, aye market day thou was na sober, that ilka melder wi' the miller, thou sat as lang as thou had siller, that every nag was caught a shoe on, the smith and thee gat roarin' foot on, that at the eld's house, even on Sunday, thou drank wi' curtain Jean till Monday. She prophesied that late or soon thou would be found deep drowned in Doon, or catched wi' warlocks in the murk by Alloway's old haunted kirk. Ah, gentle dames, it gars me greet to think how money counsels sweet, how money lengthened sage advices the husband fro the wife despises. But to our tale, aye market night, Tam had got planted unco right, fast by an ingle, bleezing finely, wi' Roman sots, that drank divinely, and at his elbow Souter Johnny, his ancient rusty draughty crony. Tom loaned him like a very brighter. They had been foe for weeks together. The night drove on with sangs and clatter, and aye the ale was growing better. The landlady and Tam grew gracious, with favours secret, sweet, and precious. The Souter told his queerest stories. The landlord's laugh was ready chorus. The storm without might rare and rustle, Tam dinna mind the storm a whistle. Car, mad to see a man so happy, e'en drowned himself among the nappy. As bees flee hame wi' lades o' treasure, the minutes winged their way with pleasure. Kings may be blessed, but Tam was glorious, o'er the ills o' life victorious. But pleasures are like poppies spread. Ye seize the flower, its bloom is shed, or like the snow falls in the river a moment white, then melts forever. Or like the borealis race, the flit ere you can point their place. Or like the rainbow's lovely form, vanishing amid the storm. Na can men tether time nor tide. The hour approaches, Tam maun ride. That hour, o' night's black arch the keystone, that dreary hour he mounts his beast in, and sick a night he takes the road in, as ne'er poor sinner was abroad in. The wind blew as twad blawn its last, the rattling showers rose on the blast. The speedy gleams the darkness swallowed, loud, deep, and lang the thunder bellowed. That night a child might understand the Dale had business on his hand. Wheel mounted on his grey mare Meg, a better never lifted leg, Tam scalped on through dub and mire, despising wind and rain and fire, whilst holding fast his good blue bonnet, whilst crooning o'er some old Scots sonnet, whilst glowering round with prudent cares, lest bogles catch him unawares. Kirk Alloway was drawing nigh, where ghosts and howlets nightly cry. By this time he was cross the ford, where in the snaw the chapmen smoored, and past the Burks and Michael Stane, where drunken Charlie's breakneck bane, and through the winds and by the cairn, where hunters found the murdered bairn, and near the thorn aboon the well, where Mungo's mither hanged hersel. Before him Doon pours all his floods, the doubling storm rose through the woods. The lightning flash from pole to pole, near and more near, the thunders roll, when glimmering through the groaning trees, Kirk Alloway seemed in a breeze. Through Ilka bore the beams were glancing, and loud resounded mirth and dancing. Inspiring bold John Barleycorn, what dangers thou canst make us scorn. With Tippany we fear no evil, with Uskabe we'll face the devil. The swats so reamed in Tommy's noddle, fair play he cared not deals a bottle. But Maggie stood, right sair astonished, till by the heel and hand admonished, she ventured forward on the light, and wow, Tam saw an unco sight. Warlocks and witches in a dance, na cotillion, Brent knew fro France. But hornpipes, jigs, strathspeys, and reels put life and metal in their heels. A winnock bunker in the east, there sat old Nick, in shape obese, a towsy tyke, black, grim, and large. To give them music was his charge. He screwed the pipes and gart them skirl, till roof and rafters aye did dirl. Coffins stood round like open presses that shawed the dead in their last dresses, and by some devilish cantrip sleight, each in its cold hand held a light, by which heroic Tam was able to note upon the holly table a murderer's bonds in gibbet airns. Twa sprang lang wee, unchristened bairns, a thief new cut fra o' rape, with his last gasp he glubbeted gape. 5 tomahawks, blood red rusted, 5 scimitars with murder crusted, garter which a babe had strangled, a knife father's throat had mangled, whom is ein son of life bereft, grey hairs yet stacked to the heft, with mare of horrible and awful, which even to name would be unlawful. As Tammy glowered, amazed and curious, the mirth and fun grew fast and furious. The piper loud and louder blew, the dancers quick and quicker flew. They reeled, they set, they crossed, they cleekit, till Ilka Carlin swat and reekit, and coosed her duddies to the wark, and leekit at it in her sark. Now Tam, oh Tam, had they been queans, a plump and strappin' in their teens, their sarks instead o' crushy flainin', being snaw white 1700 linen. Their breeks o' mine, my only pair, that ance were plush o' guide blue hair. I would ha' gi'n them off my hearties, for I blink o' the bonny birdies. But whither to beldams old and droll, rig woody hags would speen a foal, looping, flinging on a crummock, I wonder dinna turn thy stomach. But Tam can't what was what fu brawly. There was I winsome wench and Wally, that night enlisted in the corps, long after kenned on Carrick shore. For mony a beast to dead she shot and perished, mony a bonny boat, and shook Bath, Michael, Corn, and Bear, kept the countryside in fear. Her cutty sark o' Paisley harn, that while a lassie she had worn, in longitude, though sorely scanty, it was her best. She was a vaunty. Ah, little kenned they reverend granny, that sark she coughed for her wee Nanny. What £12 Scots 'twas a her riches, whatever graced a dance of witches. But here my muse, her wing moan cour, sick flights are far beyond her power, to sing how Nanny lap and flang a supple jade she was, and strang, and how Tam stood like one bewitched, and thought his very een enriched. Even Satan glowered and fidged fu fain, and hotched and blew with might and main, till first a Kuiper, sin anither, Tam tint his reason thegither, and roars out, "Weel done, Cutty Sark!" and in an instant all was dark. And scarcely had he Maggie rallied, when out the hellish legion sallied, as bees biz out with angry fyke, when plundering herds assail their bike, as open pussy's mortal foes, when pop she starts before their nose, as eager runs the market crowd, when catch the thief resounds aloud. So Maggie runs, the witches follow with money and eldritch screech and hollow. Ah, Tam, thou'll get thy farrin', in hell they'll roast thee like a herrin'. In vain thy Kate awaits thy comin', Kate soon will be a woeful woman. Now do thy speedy outmost, Meg, and win the keystone or the brig. There at them thou thy tail may toss, a running stream they dare not cross. But ere the key stain she could make, the faint a tail she had to shake, for Nanny, far before the rest, hard upon noble Maggie pressed, and flew at Tam with furious ettle, but little wist she Maggie's mettle. Aye, spring brought off her master hale, but left behind her ain grey tail. A carlin caught her by the rump, and left poor Maggie scarce a stump. Now, why this tale o' truth shall read, ilk man and mother's son take heed. Whene'er to drink you are inclined, or cutty sarks run in your mind, think ye may buy the joys o'er dear. Remember Tam O'Shanter's mare. End of Daily Reading of the Harvard Classics, January 25th. To a Mouse and Burns' Other Poems.